Now, here's a short story about a husband and father who is, without mercy, kicking his cheating wife to the curb after finding out that 9 years ago, 9 years, when she was going through a tough time in her life because somebody she cared about passed away, she cheated on him. But not just one time, lots of time over the course of over a year with an old boyfriend. And this has finally come to the surface after all this time, and he's done. And you want to talk about full-blown meltdown? Holy crap. The Oscar goes to his wife. Titled, "My wife finally admitted an affair that happened 9 years ago." And a shout out to Bruce for sending this in. He says, "This is my first post on Reddit. My spouse and I are both 44 years old and have been married since 2014. We met and started dating when we were 26. In late 2016, her cousin, who was her best friend, died in a car accident. For the next 14 months, our relationship really suffered. We had one child at the time, and it became tough. She started going out with old friends on some weekends. We weren't romantic in 2017 and barely had SCX. She even mentioned on more than one occasion that she wanted a SCX-less marriage. I remained faithful to her. I even tried to fix her situation, but it didn't last." Okay, they were married for a few years, and all of a sudden her friend dies in an accident, and she's going through a hard time, and she says, I want to be in a, SCX-less marriage. Yeah, not happening. Our guy here obviously was patient with her because obviously she was going through trauma, but still, wait till you find out what's going on behind the scenes. At a low point, I asked her if she wanted a divorce, and she cried and cried and said she wanted to fix things. I bet you all of a sudden she's ready to get down and dirty in the bedroom after he said divorce. That was the end of 2017. In January 2018, I came back from a work trip and we began the process. Over the last 8 years of the marriage, it's been great and everything turned around. There you go. But wait till you hear what was going on. We even had another child. I asked her at the beginning of this period of reconciliation if there was anything she had done during that bad period that I should know about. She told me that even at her lowest point, she remained faithful during our marriage. Okay, he gave her a shot all those years back then. Here's where the issue starts. By mid-2018, I was looking for a number in our cell phone bill and found that one night during the bad period of time, she had told me that she was going out with a friend to catch up. We'd gone out to dinner and she dropped me off after she'd go to see a friend for drinks. She said she might stay at her friend's place so as to not drive after drinking. The next day, she had come home drunk around 7 o'clock in the morning. She's a married woman and a mother. Shouldn't be doing that crap. That's the crap you do when you're in college, and I hope like hell she wasn't driving. Come on, grow up. The phone bill showed me that the entire day and immediately after she dropped me off, that she had been texting someone who wasn't the friend in question. It was a serious ex-boyfriend that she had in the past. There you go. They had even texted the following morning just before she came home. I found this out months after it happened. When confronted about this, she lied and told me she never saw him. It stuck with me for years, and I would occasionally bring it up. If she would have come clean to him back then, even though it would have caused a big fight, and maybe he would have divorced her, there was a possibility if she was completely honest that he would have written off as saying you went through a hard time because your friend died and he might gave her a second chance. I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have wanted him to do that, but he might have done that. But she had to lie. 2 weeks ago, now we're in present time, 2026, I asked her again and would not relent. She broke down crying and admitted that it happened. 8 fucking years she's lying to him. She said she snapped after her cousin died and it was just the one time and she was ashamed. She told me that she immediately cut it off and that the last 8 years of me had been the best of her life. She said she didn't want to ruin what we had created after the bad period, so she kept it secret. I was really hurt, but I had suspected something like this for a long time. I was willing to try and work through it. She said the one night was the only time this happened. Smack! Trying to work through it. Brother, she's been lying to you for 8 years. Don't worry, guys. He handles himself right in the end. Don't leave. He gave her the shot in 2018. Lied right to his face. Now, do you think he's getting the full story in this moment? Place your bets. Last week I thought about her story. Some things still didn't make sense, and there were holes in her story. I realized that the old ex-boyfriend had been lingering on her Facebook a lot longer after that night in question. I found calls and texts that were made months after the supposed one night. She's a moron. While I confronted her about this, after some gaslighting and half-truths, she admitted that it wasn't just the one night. Guys, this is the best example of trickle truth. You're never going to get the full story. You have to keep digging and digging and digging, and they'll let little things out, but you never get the full story. It had lasted to just before we started trying to fix the marriage. So it had gone on from November 2016 to probably January 2018. All that time. All that freaking time he was being patient with her, and she didn't want to sleep with him. Meanwhile, she's sleeping with her ex. I'd be done. I'm absolutely devastated. She's been crying, telling me the last 8 years were the best of her life, and that she didn't want to lose me, and that's why she never told me. Well, too late, asshole. You screw that up. It may have been great for you. It hasn't been great for me now that I know it's been a big lie. She says she doesn't want a divorce and will do anything to keep me. Oh, yeah, because you're such a prize. I don't think I can move forward with her. I just know that my life will suffer, and although the last 8 years were great, I can never trust her again. It feels like the good times were just a lie. Well, man, the foundation was a lie. She swears that this 1+ year affair was mostly emotional, and they had SCX 4 times total. Yeah, they've been having an affair for 13 months, and they only hooked up 4 times. And besides, she has a reputation now of constantly lying. He can't believe a fucking thing she says. She swears that nothing like this ever happened before or after. How can you move forward with something like this? You can't, brother. Now he has these little edits and updates. He says, I learned the full extent of the affair yesterday evening. I owned my house before I met her, and she signed a prenup agreement prior to the marriage. Aha. Regardless, I'm still devastated. I feel like my best friend stabbed me in the back without remorse. I can't look at old pictures from the last 8 years. The good portion of my marriage as they feel like a bunch of lies. Well, it was based on lies, man. That poor bastard. But at least the house was his, and they have supposedly an ironclad prenup before they got married. When I told her we should separate, she fell on the floor like she had a heart attack. She just sobbed like she was dying. I had to lock the door so the kids wouldn't try to come into the room. And the Oscar goes to the wife, falling to the ground like she's having a heart attack. Come on here. She's doing that on purpose. Don't fall for it, man. I don't want to hurt the kids, but I feel like shit, and I've been hiding this from them. I asked about DNA testing the kids, and she said, go ahead. I doubt that they're not mine. My oldest is the spitting image of me, and my daughter was born multiple years into the good period. Dude, you don't know she has been cheating on you all along for 8 years because she's been lying about everything else. He also says, one of the things I learned as we went over the story multiple times, as they talked almost every day during that period. They almost always chatted through Facebook Messenger. The messages are long since deleted, and there have been several phones since then. Also, I know that for a fact that her meetups would have been limited in that time period as we had a 3-year-old. He turned 4 in 2017, and she had a full-time job. If she had gone out every weekend, I would have known something was up. From what I remember, and from what she has told me, she met up with him about once a month for 6 to 8 months, but they still talk daily. Once a month for 6 to 8 months. And again, this is her telling him this. Do you really think that he was going to waste his time meeting with her if he wasn't getting laid? She told him that she couldn't talk to him anymore in January 2018. She said the last time they had a meetup was in the fall 2017. Well, some people have suggested I contact the ex-boyfriend. Yes, he knew she was married, and yes, he did not care. From what I was told, he was single at the time. I don't want to talk to him. Why would he want to talk to me? He would probably think I'm some crazy nutcase out to get him. I'm not. I just don't want anything from him. On a side note, I appreciate the comments. I thought that only a few people would actually read this. Well, she's toast. Maybe you can reach out to the ex-boyfriend and say, hey, she's all yours, brother. And probably for him, won't be any fun anymore. So, guys, there you go. The perfect example of the trickle truth. If you see some shady shit, do your homework. And then you keep digging and digging and digging because you're not going to get the full story here. And this is Perfect example. And of course, the theatrics and meltdowns when she knows she's done. Holy crap. Fall to the ground and fake heart attacks and stuff. Good God. So anyhow, this guy's going to have a tough road ahead for a couple of years, but it's the best way to go out. And he's got little kids, and it's a shame, but he can't stay with her. And I don't believe anything what she says at this point. Shame.